And look, I'm not here to defend the Democrat Party, not at all. And I'm not a Democrat. But presidential elections are a binary choice between two people, Donald Trump and Joe Biden in this case. And in this case, I believe Joe Biden, through his lifetime, has demonstrated the ability to collaborate. I stress that because collaboration is critical to problem solving. He's demonstrated that he is both humble and empathetic, characteristics that are critical to leadership, particularly leaders who know their job is to serve others. I coach the necessity and the importance of humility and empathy. And on those characteristics of leadership, Donald Trump, unfortunately, has not exhibited those characteristics through his lifetime, and I do not believe he has exhibited those characteristics during his presidency. It is not a joy to me to have to say that I think our Republican president has not been a strong leader for his country or his party.
Carly, I'm out of time.
And I think, unfortunately, has damaged our party.
I've got to leave it there. We'll have you back again soon. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Sandra.
So that was Carly Fiorina endorsing Joe Biden live on Fox News just a little bit ago. And of course, as you may remember, Carly Fiorina was Ted Cruz's VP pick back in 2016. You know, he made that pick just before he really ended up dropping out, but it was still significant that he nominated her, and she also, of course, ran for president, although unsuccessfully in her own right in 2016. And she is endorsing Joe Biden. Now, what she makes clear here is that doesn't mean she endorses the Democratic Party, but that in the binary choice between Trump and Biden, she's choosing Biden. And there's a few interesting things here. You know, she makes that choice because of empathy, collaboration, and leadership. And I think that shows that she has no faith in Donald Trump, that he can exhibit any of those qualities. But I find it fascinating that this is being done on Fox News, and that Fox News would essentially give Carly Fiorina 11 minutes to praise Joe Biden and attack Donald Trump. You know, I just showed you a brief excerpt, but this was more than 10 minutes of interview, and she does criticize Democrats and praise some Republicans, but this is mostly an anti-Trump, pro-Biden interview. And I think what this shows is that more and more Republicans are starting to realize that Donald Trump is facing a heavy defeat. It's not a guarantee, but that the trend is certainly in that direction. And I think Fox News realizes that this could be a monumental defeat for the Republican Party because Trump will pull down a lot of congressmen and senators with him, and they need to keep some sort of relevance with those that are going to have political power over the next 2, 4, 6, however many years. And they need to keep including some of these voices that are not explicitly anti-Biden. I think it also shows the potential risk that a Biden administration is going to be very much dominated, or at least have a large portion that are actually just Republicans in any other name. That people like Carly Fiorina, the Lincoln Project people, some of them are going to be included directly and indirectly within the Biden regime, within the Biden administration. And I think what a lot of voters who are voting for Biden want, they're not necessarily going to get. Not just, progressives who want Medicare for all, who are voting for Biden out of harm reduction, but frankly, people who even want what Biden promised around a public option, a $15 minimum wage. There is a real risk that if Biden becomes so surrounded even more than he is now by people that were effectively Republicans back during the Romney-Bush years, and maybe are still Republicans now, even if they're not voting for Trump, like Carly Fiorina is, that this could be a real barrier to progress. And I think it's something that people have to get ready to fight for, once Trump is defeated. And we can't stop talking about those issues even in the run-up to the election. Because there's a reason why Fiorina feels comfortable endorsing Joe Biden. I think part of it is the fact that Joe Biden seems to be, in a lot of ways, just a person with a better temperament for leadership than Donald Trump. And that bar might be microscopically low, but the bar is still there, and Biden can at least, hop over it slightly. And I think that's part of it. She just legitimately believes Donald Trump is not fit for the office of president and for the collaboration and temperament it requires. But I think it's also ideological. As she notes here, she doesn't trust the Democratic Party. She notes in other parts of this interview that a lot of Democrats are just as hardline and unwilling to collaborate and to be bipartisan as some of the Republicans she disagrees with. But she sees Biden as different from a lot of those Democrats. She sees Biden, and whether this is accurate or not, she perceives Biden as more willing to play ball with Republicans like her than other Democrats. And so when she sees Trump, who she sees as a hardliner, and then she looks at other Democrats, she can see Joe Biden as a moderate. Now, again, I find this so fascinating that Fox News would let this happen. This is a disastrous interview for the Trump campaign, because I don't know if Carly Fiorina herself is going to shift any votes in any reasonable way. I sort of feel that the Carly Fiorina type Republicans have already left. Like, those are the type of Republicans that already started voting for the Democrats in 2018 in the congressional races. So I don't know how much more value this adds, but it's the fact that it happened live on Fox News a month away from the election that is the real story here. Because Fox News knows they are going to become utterly irrelevant if they don't have the sort of moderate Republican voice that's willing to potentially support Joe Biden. And they cannot be the Trump network and be nearly as successful if Trump loses this election by 10, maybe more. Rasmussen, this poll broke earlier today, just before this interview actually. Rasmussen, one of the polling firms that leans most Republican, has Biden beating Trump by 12. This really does have the potential to be an absolute blue wave election. And Fox News is terrified of being dragged into the undertow of that wave.